Guys, this is last humor of my set. I have a friend called Ravi, one of the member in Bassmakers group. He narrated his school story. He asks his teacher, "Teacher, will you scold me for something I did not do?" Teacher said, "No, Ravi, scolding is bad. I would never scold you for something you did not do." Ravi said, "Thank you, teacher. I did not do the homework." A lot of thanks to you all. Let's meet next month in another series of humor in schools. Till then, Gotham says, bye.
Pursoon, it makes me wonder, should this humor be used in educational settings, specifically school?
To assess the appropriateness of this humor to be used in schools, let us look through the lens of instructional humor processing theory.
Once, you had mentioned that instructional humor processing theory, specifically, describes and explains about humor in educational settings. It consists of elements of 3 other humor theories of educational settings, such as incongruity resolution theory, disposition theory, and elaboration likelihood model of persuasion.
Fantastic, Sagufta. According to instructional humor processing theory, when Ravi asked the teacher, "Will you scold me for something I did not do?" the teacher interpreted initially that Ravi was referring to some mistake which he did not do. This was the mental setup of the Joker humor, which is the first stage of humor perception. Now, when Ravi said, "Thank you, teacher, I did not do the homework," the teacher found that it was homework rather than some mistake, and thus he arrived at an alternate funny interpretation. In the stimulus, "something I did not do," he detected the incongruity and resolved it.
So, instructional humor processing theory involves all 3 stages of incongruity resolution theory, which are mental setup of joke, detection of incongruity, and resolving of incongruity.
True, it involves elements of incongruity resolution theory. It states, humor in educational settings is appropriate if incongruity is detected and resolved.
And it also involves elements of dispositional theory, which would state that appropriateness of humor depends upon how different stakeholders such as students, teachers, principal, etc. feel about this humor.
Yes, in this humor, since nobody is targeted directly, therefore, this is appropriate to be used in educational settings.
And what about elements of elaboration likelihood model?
Elements of elaboration likelihood model states that for humor perception, central root of processing of stimulus is required, which is deep and elaborated. Here, to understand the stimulus, "something I did not do," elaborated and central processing is required, rather than just peripheral one.
Okay, I got it. Humor perception and understanding depends on central level of processing. Well, let's summarize now. Instructional humor processing theory depends upon elements of incongruity resolution theory, which posits, for humor to be appropriate, incongruity and humor should be detected and resolved.
And it also depends upon elements of disposition theory, which posits, for humor to be appropriate, it should be targetless, or, if targeted, it should be benign, and one should feel good about it. Also, it depends on elements of elaboration likelihood model, as discussed above.
This is all about instructional humor processing theory, given by Banas in 2010, which tends to describe and explain about humor in educational settings and its appropriateness. Let's list down what parameters of appropriateness should we keep in mind while using humor in educational settings.
Some important appropriateness parameters we should keep in mind while using humor in educational settings are content relatedness, level of preparation, source, target, form, timing, and frequency. Let's discuss these in the Bassmakers meeting at Nagyuncle's restaurant.
Yes, now let's watch our next performer, Ravi.
Guys, this is first humor of my set. I have a friend called Gotham, one of the member in Bassmakers group. He narrated his school story.